guys, welcome to another episode of F122. My team, you join us not at Monaco, but we are at Monaco today. But there's been an important update to the game. We have patch fixes for a number of issues, which is great. And also, there are, if I go to the mail section, updates to player ratings or driver ratings. Now you can apply those to your existing save, and I am going to do so. Since we're early on in the season, still like 16 races to go, I'm happy enough to apply this to my existing save, and it will adjust some of the driver ratings in the save. Not massively, but some of the driver ratings are changing. I can show you all of the changes here on the EA website. So Mick Schumacher is up 2. Zhou Guanyu is up 5. George is up 2. Max is up 1. Charles is down 1. They're the changes that have been made. So that's now active in this save, but it won't really affect us too much at this stage, I don't imagine, other than Zhou Guanyu in the Haas. And perhaps Mick in his car as well. We've got a lot of items that we want to redo and get back in the works, but we're going to need the resource points from practice at Monaco first before we're able to do that. So what we're going to do is just jump straight to practice here at Monaco and pray for no rain, because if it does rain, I might just slit my own throat. Thank you very much for continuing to watch this save, though. I very much appreciate all the support you guys have been showing on this F1 save. It's been really, really fun to make, and hopefully you guys will continue to enjoy it for a while. Fully dry race weekend. The sun is out in the south of France. Now then, the difficulty is still a couple lower for Monaco, as it normally is for Spain as well, because the AI are really strong at Spain, and I'm really weak at Monaco, so we kind of balance it that way. For Baku, in the next one, we will up the difficulty back up to 90, but currently we're at 88, and for Monaco as well, we drop it to standard damage from simulation, just for Monaco, because Monaco. Right then, let's go straight to practice and try and get some resource points that improve the car, shall we? We are up and running. Welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix weekend. I think it's safe to say we're quicker with the custom, isn't it? Much quicker with the custom. 113.3. 113.3. I'm not sure how that compares to last year. I'm sure someone in Twitch chat will let me know what we qualified with last year in Monaco. But for the time being, the custom setup is definitely faster, and I feel more comfortable with that custom setup as well. Charles Leclerc does a 112 flat. We are 17th with that. I still have a feeling we might be qualifying near the back, and obviously in practice you have a larger fuel load as well. We didn't do a qualifying run, we just did a soft tyre run to try and get the setup right. So I'm going to go to practice, and we'll quick practice and get ourselves the extra resource points that we're pretty desperate for right now, but we'll be able to get them throughout the course of this and the next session. So we should hopefully be able to still upgrade as much as we want to between now and the end of this weekend. So we should have enough resource points from that to be able to adequately redo the two things that failed, which is the plan. We haven't quite jumped to qualifying yet. This should take us back to the menus rather than take us straight to qualifying, will it? And we should have the opportunity to upgrade the car. Yes, indeed it will. So we are having to redo two things that failed. One for the performance, one for the aerodynamics. Sorry, one for the chassis, one for the aerodynamics. Tertiary flaps, 0% chance of failure. That will be ready for the next Grand Prix. And equally, tyre blankets, 525. That will be ready for the next Grand Prix. So we are hopefully going to upgrade in 4 areas for the next Grand Prix, which should, fingers crossed, see us rise up the performance index. But obviously it depends what other teams are doing at any given moment as well. For now though, to qualifying eventually. So we're going significantly faster on our second run in Q1, but what's it good for? It is good for P11 at present. But other drivers behind us are still going and will cross the line and improve further still. So I would imagine we'll drop from P11. So in Q1, we qualify 19th in the end, a 1:12.2. But Zhou Guanyu has a 5-place grid penalty. So we should start P18. Nico also has a 5-place grid penalty as well. So we'll start P18. I mean, it's Monaco, so not being last is a victory in itself. Now, maybe with strategy, we could try something here. I don't know whether... I never know whether going long in the first stint is the way forward, or pitting early and then trying to nail it is the way forward. I've never really figured out the ideal pit strategy at Monaco. I should probably tweet Team at Marduk, shouldn't I? Ben would know what the ideal pit strategy is at Monaco. But starting from P18, as we suspect, I imagine. I'm not sure what we'll do from there. We had an enjoyable Monaco Grand Prix last year. But at Monaco, it doesn't matter about being fast at the end on a set of soft tyres as we normally try and do it. At Monaco, it's all about track position. So you have to go as long as possible, I think. I might go medium hard. I think medium hard might be the way forward, you know. Let's see what the grid looks like anyway as we progress towards the Monaco Grand Prix. Slightly overcast at the beginning of the race, but then those clouds will dissipate and we'll be left with bright skies. Lando in P2 as Lewis gets pole here. Don't know if there's any penalties for Ferraris. Alonso riding high on that victory in Spain, of course. George with a penalty. Verstappen only 7th fastest. Bottas, Ocon and Gasly. So we should be 18th then, I believe. Ricciardo 11th. Scholl and Pourchaire qualify well in the Alfa Romeos. Vettel and Magnussen, then it should be us in 18th, and indeed it is with the penalty to Zhou Guanyu. Zhou in 20th with that penalty, and Ricciardo will be last with his. A P18 is not a bad start. And like I say, I think medium hard is probably the way to go, although it recommends hard medium. Fuel-wise, it's recommending me an extra 6.5 laps. Surely I'm not going to need 6.5 laps more fuel around Monaco. I know we drink fuel as a car, but 6.5 laps worth of extra fuel. Are you sure? I'll put 5 laps extra in because I can't be confident. But softs to hard is probably the way forward. Then if there's any safety cars, we can just whack on some softs, can't we? So that's what we'll do. Medium to hard. I'm curious to see what everyone else is doing. A lot of people starting on the hard, so they're going to go long. I think medium to hard might be the way forward because we'll pit early or earlier than the majority of the hard runners, and then we'll be running our hard tyres, which will be fresher than their hard tyres, longer. Alright, so putting up to my grid spot on the left-hand side of the grid. I'll creep up really slowly and try and aim myself towards... There we go. I'm trying to aim myself straighter so I can get a better start. I hope that works. I'm not sure anyone else has actually started as straight as I have. I feel a little bit off kilter, but it might actually work in our favour. Lights out. We're away. Our medium tyres get us a good start, but obviously it's Monaco, so there's not much room up here. I'll try and hold it around the outside of whoever it is on the inside there, Tsunoda, I think, and we are up to P16. For the first time, I think, in this entire save, we've had a good start and made a place. Would you Adam and Eve it? Now then, the plan is that everybody else will lose loads of time in this first stint, and then we'll end up gaining that all back, oh god, later. That's the plan anyway. We'll wait and see if that plan works. Obviously, with it being as concertinaed up here as it is, I was a little bit too hasty trying to get forward. Yellow flags somewhere, but it's probably just because everyone's moving so slowly. The game's like, oh, someone's going a bit slow. It's like, yeah, everyone, because we're all stuck behind each other. Up to P17 and at the start of this Grand Prix, and hoping to take these tyres to lap 33, and then go to hards after that to the end. Don't expect too much in the way of overtaking action, although last year at Monaco we did make a couple of really good overtakes in the at the end of the first sector. And I'm wondering if we might be able to try and replicate that. I don't know as I actually got anyone into turn 1. Start using my battery in a minute. Just to, whoops, keep up. So obviously we don't want to fall out of DRS range of everyone in front of us, because that's going to be vital for staying with the cars in front and ensuring we don't get left behind. See what happens throughout the course of the Grand Prix. We're settled now. Everybody's up to speed. Their tyres are pretty much up to temperature. Let's try and see what we can do. Maybe there's a position or two to be made with whilst we've got our softer compound tyres on. Softer, of course. We're on the medium compound, which is softer than the hard that everyone else is on. So yes, we will be slower later in the race, but we're hoping we'll have earned track position in the meantime. If I can make a gap behind past the second, open up that DRS gap, that would be lovely, but I don't know as that's going to be an option in these early stages. Mick Schumacher's nearly a full 2 seconds behind us as we come into Raskas. Well, that gap has now closed up, evidently, and now opened up again. Alright, I feel competitive enough here. I'm happy enough with how things are so far.
This lap, we can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Just need a little bit of a run on someone somewhere, and maybe we can make a position. We're going to get an overtake. We're going to have to be right tucked up behind someone into a braking zone to do it. But you know, you guys know what Monaco's all about. It's about concentration. It's about precision. And about biding your time. And I don't have many of those skills, as you quite rightly know from watching my content. Really want to break that DRS to Tsunoda though and try and pull away a bit. We might just have been able to do that. It's really not that big a straight to gain the DRS though, so it's not actually going to make much of a difference, but Tsunoda might break it to Schumacher, to be honest.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3
Magnussen has lost it on Porsche as well, so K-Mag's a bit vulnerable here down that main straight. I'll bear that in mind next time. If he doesn't gain that DRS back, Magnussen is going to be really vulnerable down the main straight, and we might be able to try and make a move if we set it up properly. We are going to have to be close through Raskas and then Anthony Nogues, the final turn. But getting an overtake on K-Mag isn't impossible here. We proved last season that we can make 2 or 3 good overtakes throughout the course of a Monaco Grand Prix, and we will look to do the same again. If I can stick close to him up the hill and then round Casino Square, we might have a chance into the turn at the bottom of the hill. I'm going to go for an overtake here on K-Mag. He's going to brake. I'm going to dive up the inside, and we are going to take P16. Thank you very much. That's how you overtake at Monaco, ladies and gentlemen. Now then, Théo Pourchaire, come here. You're next. This is where being on the medium tyres at this stage is going to help. It is going to be a hindrance later when we're on the hards and they're on the mediums, but I'm hoping that I can position my car well enough defensively that we're not going to come undone. Again though, enjoying Monaco. That was close. Oh! What was it, Shogwan, you said when he did that coming out of the tunnel? Oh, I need a new pants after that. Deary me. Oh. Sebastian Vettel is in the pits. We're up to P15. Vettel, one of those that started on the softs. They've only lasted 16 laps. So presumably, they're going to go soft through the whole stint that we're doing mediums, and they'll switch to hard tyres towards the same sort of lap as we switch to our hards, although we are planning on switching to our hards slightly earlier. There are a number of cars that started on softs. It was only 5 or 6, but enough to make you interested in what might happen. Let's have a look at the race director. So who else is on softs? Danny Ricciardo's on softs. Alexander Albon in the Aston Martin is on softs. Oh, it's just the 3 of them on softs. But Seb is now pit for hards. So it looks like Seb is trying to 2-stop soft to hard. And he's going to look to take those hards 60 laps. That is going to be quite the feat from Sebastian. Either that or he's hoping, praying for a safety car towards the end of the race where he can then whack on another set of hards or the set of mediums that he saved. Interesting decision from Seb to go to hards now. I would have thought he'd have been better served going... Well, to be fair, he's come out right behind my teammate. So actually, there you go. Daniel Ricciardo's off his hards now, off his softs now as well, and onto a set of hards. We're going to try to go to the end on those hards, but they're just going to get... I don't see them having the pace. Right, I need to concentrate because I've lost time on Teo and K-Mag is gaining on me. I'm going to knuckle down again for a couple of laps. Up to P13 though. Verstappen's in the pits to go on to mediums. The hard runners are starting to pit for their... The hard runners are starting to pit for their mediums. Now, was that just for a pit stop? Or did he have... Yep, the hard runners are switching to their mediums. Now's the time. I'm going to need to pit now.
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
I'm going to react to Max's stop. And we're going to try and put some fresh tyres on and see what we can do. It's going to be a long way for those hards. In we come. So pitting earlier than planned off our mediums, but Verstappen's plan is to take those mediums to the end of the race. And if he can take mediums to the end of the race from here, then I can certainly take hards to the end of the race from here. 2.5 second stop, not bad at all. Going to come out right with this group here. So Latifi, Hulkenberg and Vettel are right here. These tyres are going to take a little while to warm up though. Now Vettel has already pit once off a set of softs, and unfortunately for him he's now stuck.
Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
He's now stuck behind Nico and Latifi. If I could have come out in front of this group of 3, that would have been preferable, but sometimes you don't get what you wish for. But at least I've got a little bit of free air to try and put in some lap times with, or put some pace in before I get stuck. I've not immediately come out stuck in traffic. There you go, Gasly's in the pits, switching to mediums. Max Verstappen has started the domino effect. Gasly's in and out off his mediums. And so it begins. We do have two sets of hard tyres, sorry, 2 sets of soft tyres we could use later in the race if there's a safety car. But obviously, around here, as you've seen and as you well know as Formula 1 fans, track position is king. And even if there is a safety car, it might be worth staying out just to have the track position, depending on the situation around us at the time. George Russell is out. George Russell retires. That's a position gained. What's happened to George? Engine blowout for George at the bottom of the hill. George Russell out the Grand Prix. Unfortunately for him, that Mercedes has gone, nah, you're all right. I've had enough, thank you. Nico's in the pits. As is Zhou Guanyu and Yuki Tsunoda. We're going to take Yuki and Tsunoda here. Sorry, take Yuki and Zhou Guanyu, sorry. Up to 19th again. And my gauge is the Alfa Romeos, isn't it? That's my gauge of whether we've earned time or not. Yellow flags here for George's car at the bottom of the hill. It's just parked up there. And one of the Alfa Romeos has pit, because they are just down the road ahead of Nicholas Latifi. So our strategy hasn't worked for one Alfa Romeo, but it may work for the other. But to be fair, there was only one that was right in front of us. Teo was right in front of us. Stroll was 5 seconds down the road. Teo is in the pits right now. This is where we find out if our pit strategy has worked or not. At least in the short term. And the answer, I believe, is probably going to be no. There he is coming out the pits now, but he's going to be on cold tyres. We have a tight line here, Teo. Battling hard with the two in front of us. We've gained a little bit of time on Teo, but not masses. But they're well out of position now. They're battling hard. Someone might get damaged here. We might be able to make an advantageous... Whoa! Seb goes defensive. An advantageous nip up the inside. But Seb certainly wasn't letting me through there, was he? And Teo has been able to hold the position against Latifi. Very well defended and well fought by Teo Pourchaire on cold tyres. I'm going to have all of the medium runners behind me for the rest of the Grand Prix now. Those that pit. But that was the plan. Plan was to try and get track position and hold track position. Kevin Magnussen's going to be boxing soon as well. K-Mag's holding some drivers up in front as well. Just come around the last corner. K-Mag is sat in front of a number of other drivers as well. Yellow flags up here. Not sure what for. We're clear again. Someone's done something. I think it's behind us. I think it's a Haas behind us that's about to retire from the Grand Prix. So we're not going to gain a position. Zhou Guanyu is out of the race. That's what's happened. And now Latifi's pit. We can try and take Sebastian Vettel, but I imagine he's going to have some decent pace in that Aston Martin. So it's not going to be an easy task, but it's a task we're going to try and complete. Seb has been on those hard tyres a while. I'm not quite close enough. Gonna have to be within like a couple of tenths at most to have a go into there. But we're currently P16 and trying to take P15 off Sebastian Vettel. That is the task at hand now. Magnussen's in the pits. Magnussen's out of the pits and has jumped us with an overcut. Kevin Magnussen keeps the position ahead of us with a nice overcut. That's worked really well for Williams there. Because we got stuck behind Latifi, we lost too much time. And we've been jumped by K-Mag. That's annoying. We could have been P15. Trying to get P14 off Seb. K-Mag will disappear into the distance, though, on those mediums. So P15 is still very much a possibility for us here. Seb may even have to pit again. I'll ask about him.
Vettel ahead. Less than a second separates you. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Their tyres are 16 laps old. And the time last lap was a 1 minute 15.5. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap.
Yep. Sounds like Seb is trying to soft, hard, one stop. Which is remarkable, really. His tyres are 10 laps or more older than ours. So I'm going to have to concentrate and stick with him here. And try and get the overtake. But you can see how K-Mag's just gone, as expected. What I want to do is overtake Seb and then have him as a buffer between myself and the medium runners of Tsunoda and Schumacher behind. I want to use Vettel as a bit of a bottleneck if I can. That's the plan anyway. And to do so, I'm going to have to drive a bit better than I am. So, shut up and put up time again. The leaders aren't far behind now. Like 47 of 78. The leaders are just coming round the hairpin as we're coming round into the tunnel. So, well, there might be an opportunity to make or even potentially lose a position throughout the course of getting lapped by the 3 or 4 cars that are following us. Fernando Alonso is up, performing exceptionally well again in a podium position, I think. So look at the race director. Fernando is 4th currently, 4th. A couple of cars went soft hard. The majority going hard medium. We just so happen to do it the other way around, medium hard. But this is tough right now. It's been a really, really difficult Grand Prix. Pleased with a couple of the overtakes that we did make. But we've not quite had the pace to make a couple of other key overtakes. If we'd have been able to get past Teo Porcher in that first stint, we could have found ourselves coming out of the pits in front of the three that we ended up stuck behind. Latifi, my teammate, and then Sebastian Vettel. And if we'd have done that, we wouldn't now be stuck behind Sebastian Vettel still, because we both got stuck behind Nicholas Latifi. And because of Latifi being so slow and coming out behind that group of three, Kevin Magnussen jumped us, and he's now running P14, which is where we could and perhaps should be. But because we've not been able to make a couple of key overtakes that we did make in Spain in the rain, but those leaders are now right with Nico Hulkenberg behind, so it's not going to be long before we all start to get lapped. And it's a case of, can you let them past without getting overtaken by the car behind that's trying to chase you? I'm going to try and get closer to Seb for that potential opportunity for us. But I am sincerely concerned that I might lose 2 positions to Mick and Yuki during this getting lapped phase. And I'm not sure we're going to be running P16 for much longer. There will come a point where their tyres start to wear more than mine, because we put them on at about the same time, and obviously they're on a step softer compound than me, so eventually by like lap 65 Yuki and Mick will slow up. And you'd have thought Sebastian Vettel would have been doing the same at some point soon, because he put his tyres on a good 10 laps before we put our hards on. So at some point soon his tyres have got to let go too, surely, and start finding the cliff edge. But at the minute we are still stuck behind Sebastian Vettel, currently running P16, which is decent for Monaco, yes, but I can't help but feel we've missed an opportunity to maybe nab an extra couple of places. Ultimately it doesn't matter, because obviously we're not going to get any points today, nor were we, even if our strategy worked itself out perfectly. But it does make it any less frustrating to still be stuck behind a car that you know you're faster than, given the free air. I just can't quite seem to get the run on him. I need to be faster at certain parts of the track, and I'm just not fast enough at those certain parts of the track. Now Yuki is about to get overtaken here. Are we letting him through or not? Go on, Lewis.
Gap to your teammate behind is
Right, so Lewis is through, and we've managed to hold position to Yuki for the time being, but only just. I need to stick as close to Lewis as I possibly can to try and stand a chance of getting past Seb. So desperate to get past Seb, I can't even tell you.
Okay, blue flag conditions, create a gap and let the car behind through.
Right, it's McLaren let through. Now this time, maybe this time.
We need to get past here. Use overtake. Use overtake.
Charles Leclerc is coming. And he's letting through as well. I'm getting blue flag quite early for Charles. Oh, still busy looking behind me. Come on, Charles, through you go. Right, Leclerc's through as well, and we've held position. Now even so, now more cars are coming. It's another Ferrari, isn't it? And the Alpine of Alonso. It's a real battle for this podium here, isn't it? Seb's lit the McLaren through. Now he's got to let Leclerc through. Can I follow Leclerc? No. Oh.
We're not racing the car behind. Let them
He
pass
drifted
when
back
you
to
can.
the racing line and I was trying to squeeze around the outside and get there in enough time that he'd actually have to leave me space, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do it. Now we've got the Alpine right behind us as well. And the Ferrari too. So I'll pull to the side. Sainz will go as well. And we'll hold position to Yuki still. So it's working from one point of view. We're able to let the faster cars through without losing a position. But I haven't been able to take advantage of Seb yet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I certainly hope so. With these two in such close proximity, maybe we can make something work here. There are no more lapped cars coming for quite a while, so... Or no more lapping cars coming. No more front runners coming for quite a while. Come on, come on, come on, come on. He's not letting them through into the chicane. This could be our time. Is he going to close the gap again? He tried. We've got round him. It was brutal. It was battering. Oh, fuck. And then I've driven into the wall anyway. But we got the job done. Somehow. Went a long, long, long time to do that. That 54 now, onto 55.
The gap to the car in front is 21.8 seconds.
Well, so much time to Magnussen and those in front. But I will now try and pull away from Sebastian Vettel and start to drive a little bit better. So I'm going to knuckle down again. Apologies, chat. I'm end up cutting the YouTube video because nothing's going to happen for a little while. I'm just going to concentrate on putting in some lap times. Not really pulling away from Seb as well as I hoped I would do.
Okay, gap ahead is 23.2 seconds.
Which is a full pit stop. So if the safety car comes out now, K-Mag and Teo Pourchaire, but in particular K-Mag, Teo might not for risk of losing the position to K-Mag, but they could pit under a safety car if it came out and still come out in front of me with fresh tyres on. What I need is those front runners to catch them, start to lap them so that they lose time, then have a safety car come out so that if they decide to pit, they might not, but if they decide to pit,
Okay, be aware, the grip levels
I
are
can
gonna
try
start
and
falling away
nip
soon.
past by staying out on these worn hards. I don't think it's going to happen. The gap is still ever so slightly opening up to them, and Seb is sticking to the back of me at the minute. Not with DRS. I just can't seem to get more than 1.5 seconds away from him. Either I'll extend it a bit and then make a mistake, or he'll just put in a good lap and respond to my pace. He doesn't appear to be too challenged by Yuki and Mick behind, but to be fair, neither was I really. Yuki had a look once into Tabak, but that was never going to come off. And other than that, we've been able to manage the gaps behind well enough. It was just taking forever to get past Sebastian Vettel. He was just that little bit quicker than me at every part of the track where I needed to be that little bit quicker than him. And everywhere where it didn't matter if he was a little bit slower than me, he was a little bit slower than me. It didn't matter because there was no way to get past. Such is Monaco life. But we are on lap 63 3 of 78, although we are only going to lap 77 because we've been lapped. So we have 15 laps to go. It is nearly over. Monaco is always a grind for me to play and for you guys to watch, and I very much appreciate the support that you guys show the Spain and Monaco Grand Prix weekends both on Twitch and on YouTube, because I know that they're not as entertaining or even remotely close, but thankfully we follow up these two with Baku, and that always throws up a great Grand Prix. So really looking forward to getting stuck into Baku, especially with those upgrades that are on the way after this Grand Prix. It could really hopefully help us be quite competitive at Baku, and we might maybe stand the chance of getting some points like we did more recently. Don't hold your breath. Last year I was really excited to get to Baku and ended up absolutely nowhere near and well off the pace of where I thought the car was. So I'm cautiously optimistic this time, but apprehensive knowing that I wasn't as quick as I wanted to be last time I tried to nail Baku. What I have noticed is that we appear to have now been able to open up that gap to Sebastian Vettel to 2.3 seconds. Whether he made a mistake or Yuki challenged and they slowed down a little bit, I don't know. Whether I just put in a decent lap, but the gap in front is still holding between 23 and 24 seconds. So I'm not necessarily putting in banging laps myself and closing on those in front. It might just be tyre related, because Seb's tyres are about 13 or 14 laps older than mine, and mine are wearing and going. So it might be a number of things, but the gap to Seb is opening up a little, which is very much appreciated. It's just annoying that the gap in front also isn't changing and getting smaller. But never mind. Go on. You too, Esteban. There you go, we've held the position to Seb.
Okay, blue flag conditions create a gap.
Oh, there's another one, is there? Oh yeah, it's the Red Bull, isn't it? Come on, Max. Max only P8 today. Terrible race for Max Verstappen here in Monaco. He didn't start very high though, did he? I don't think. Go on then. Off you go. So our penultimate lap then starts with the cars in front half a minute down the road, although we've been lapped by 7 cars that they haven't. They've only been lapped by George in P1. Lando in P2 hasn't caught them yet. But we would still be 15 or so seconds behind, I would imagine, even if there had been no lapping to be done. And Monaco is always a grind, but as I said before, I very much appreciate everybody's support on the content, and that includes these much more minimal highlight races like Spain, like Monaco. But as we say, we all go through it. A lot of you guys just skip Monaco, and I probably would do something similar if I weren't making content. But I'm not gonna not make a Monaco video when I'm making content for YouTube. So we're on our last lap now. We're on our last lap now. It doesn't look like K-Mag's going to have to move out of the way at all. They're not going to get lapped. The McLaren is close, but not close enough to force blue flags by the looks of things. Oh, pay attention, Ches. I'm too busy looking at the mini-map. We've had Sebastian Vettel sat right up my gearbox for about 5 or 6 laps now, as my tyres are gone. His are, as we've mentioned, about 15 laps older than mine, but somehow they've held on so much better. You can see the tyre wear there at the bottom, 53% rear left, 51 on the rear right and front left. And probably by the time we end the Grand Prix, 50% all round on that front right as well.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much
You can see how Seb is just sat right up my back bottom. I am so slow on these tyres right now, but around Monaco, Track positions, King. You'll be bored of hearing it. Oh, God. I'm bored of saying it. But it's true. Sorry, Seb. We'll take P15 then in Monaco. We managed a one-stop. We've crashed into Mick Schumacher on the in-lap. Whew. But we got it done. Lewis Hamilton gets driver of the day. He won the Grand Prix, I believe, actually, Lewis. No, Lewis retired, didn't he? No, it was George that retired. George retired. Lewis won the Grand Prix. I thought for a minute Lewis had retired and gotten driver of the day. So Lewis's fastest lap was a 1:13.475. My fastest lap was a 1:15 flat. That's how far off the pace we are of the front runners. Just not got it around Monaco, but when have I ever had it around Monaco? I haven't, that's the point. We'll be back up, 1.23 million. Love that. We'll be back up to 90 difficulty for Baku in the next Grand Prix, and we should have 4 new oh, my hands hurt like mad. We should have 4 new upgrades for Baku as well. Do the durability upgrade. Do the sponsorship advertisement. I can't afford to do anything else. That's annoying. Never mind, we'll do those 2 because the team needs the acclaim. Oh, here we go. Arrival. Arrival. I'm going to say Esteban Ocon because he's the one that performs worst of all of them. Thank you very much indeed. Don't freeze on me, please. Thank you. Managed to get through it this time without freezing. So we've got low cash, apparently, even though we've got 4.5 million in the bank. Now, contract-wise with Nico Hülkenberg, he's got 41 days left. So we'll have Baku, Canada, and Great Britain, and then we'll need to renegotiate. We might be able to get as far as Austria. I can't remember quite when that is, but we're 7th in the constructors standings right now, and we're currently 10th in the R&D charts. But as we move towards the next Grand Prix, we're going to get... Oh, the diffuser failed. Well, we were hoping to get a number of things past. Hopefully 3 of the 4 will, and they have, but 1 of them failed, which is unfortunate. How many resource points do I need to redo that, I wonder? Rear downforce. It'll be done for the Canadian Grand... I don't know why I said Canadian Grand Prix. Done by the Canadian Grand Prix, so it's only going to take 6 days, but it's still frustrating. So front downforce, we've done 3. Rear downforce, we've done 3, but we're about to do a 4th. We've got a couple on the chassis now. Brakes, I need to be facility spec 3. Chassis is getting there, you know. I really need to concentrate on a bit of the aero, really. But we have jumped Haas in the standings, and we're very much level with AlphaTauri, McLaren. Sorry, with AlphaTauri and Aston Martin. McLaren are only a smidge faster than us. Haas are right with us as well. There's basically 4 teams there that are at the same point in their development cycle. And Alpha and McLaren aren't that much further up. So in Baku, if we drive to our fullest potential, there potentially is the opportunity for a really good result. A really good result, which hopefully we will get. I could put some money into something, but at the minute I'm just going to save it for now because, well, I'm thinking, at the minute I'm just thinking purely driver contracts. So we're not in a fantastic position financially because things just get more and more expensive the further you go in, but we'll get the second driver sorted with Nico, and then we'll just save money for the rest of the season and lump it all into the facilities later down the line. But that's going to bring this YouTube video to a close. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Appreciate the support. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more. Baku will be back in a couple of days' time. I am going to be streaming some F1 Manager as well on Twitch, and that might make it across here to YouTube as well. I haven't yet decided. But for now, that's all for this one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.